Before you become a landlord, it is essential that you research and fully understand what it means to be a landlord in Ontario. The risks, the benefits, and most importantly, the legal commitment you must make. It is not easy to be a landlord. Your property will not take care of itself. You are running your own business and need to be available at all times to address any issues and/or concerns your tenant may have. Your tenant could likely do any or all of the following at some point during their tenancy: stop paying their rent, damage the rental unit, interfere with other tenants or neighbors, stop cutting the grass or shoveling the snow, change the locks, prevent you from entering the rental unit, bring in guests or roommates, call the city to complain about the safety of the unit, call you in the early hours of the morning because they've locked themselves out. The list is endless. Whether you will be renting a room in your home or self-contained units, this is a business, and it is subject to an intensely onerous regulatory environment which was designed to protect tenants. If you are a residential housing provider in Ontario, you are governed by a variety of rules and regulations. Most importantly, the Residential Tenancies Act. This provides a framework for the regulation of residential rents, balances the rights and responsibilities of residential landlords and tenants, provides for adjudication and other processes to resolve disputes, and provides protection for residential tenants from unlawful rent increases and unlawful evictions. Equally as important is the Ontario Human Rights Code, which also significantly impacts landlord and tenant relationships. It addresses the procedures for selecting and evicting a tenant, rules and regulations related to the tenancy, repairs and use of related services and facilities, and the general enjoyment of the premises. As housing providers, landlords large and small must not discriminate or harass prospective or current tenants, and should be aware that they have a duty to accommodate a tenant's disability. The Ontario Human Rights Code protects existing tenants as well as anyone applying to become a tenant. The Residential Tenancies Act contains a provision that says the RTA will override any other act that may conflict with it, except for the Ontario Human Rights Code. If both the Residential Tenancies Act and Ontario Human Rights Code apply in a tenancy situation, and there is a conflict between these laws, the code must be followed first unless there is a specified exception to this rule. PIPEDA is legislation that requires information provided for business purposes to be kept confidential unless the party whose information is collected consents to its release. As a landlord, you are considered to be engaging in business activities and are therefore required to keep all information collected from tenants and prospective tenants confidential. You cannot contact your tenant's employer to complain that they are not paying their rent, nor can you put your tenant's poor behavior at the rental unit on social media, as this would be a breach of privacy. In addition to these fundamental rules, you will be subject to municipal zoning to ensure the property complies with local bylaws and property standards, the building code to ensure fundamental requirements such as the ceiling height, room size, light and ventilations are met, as well as full compliance with the fire code to ensure life safety systems are in place and functional. In the insurance industry, the rent a landlord receives from a rental property is considered business income. Therefore, rental income is taxable, and the net rental income received must be reported on your personal income tax return. The Income Tax Act contains sections specific to business and property income. You should seek help from a professional tax accountant for your first income tax return as a landlord. The decisions made on the first return will impact taxes a landlord will pay in the future. You will need to change the type of insurance from a homeowner's policy to rented dwellings insurance and increase the amount of coverage. The recommended minimum amount of liability insurance is $2 million. While an increase in coverage will mean that the premiums will rise, a portion of the insurance expenses will be tax deductible. It is also important to understand security of tenure. All tenants in Ontario enjoy this right, which means their tenancy continues on a month-to-month basis until proper legal termination is obtained. You cannot tell a tenant to leave because you no longer wish to rent to them or because their lease has ended or expired. You can only end a tenancy for a reason approved under the Residential Tenancies Act. These are just a few things landlords in Ontario should be aware of when renting. For more information about the residential rental relationship, please watch the rest of the videos and visit www.landlordselfhelp.com.